Hello, my friends. I'm so happy to be here with you today. My name is Lori Arbel. I'm a local artist and teacher, and I love sharing with everybody. And today I'm bringing you to my backyard. I thought it'd be so beautiful to speak about Earth and to do a little art inspired by Earth. And what we're going to do today, really, you don't need to be an artist, okay? Just to enjoy nature and be inspired by nature is really the goal. But first, what I'd like to do is I would like to invite you now to use one sense at a time. We're going to look around using our eyes, and we're going to notice the angles of the leaves, some bricks. You may not even need to say the object. There's no judgment about the object. We're just looking at the textures around us, on the floor, up the wall, up the chair. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Look around your space. Look around the world that you're in right now. Notice if they're moving, if light is flittering on them. Notice the color, the darkness, the lightness. And now use your ears. Hear perhaps the wind blowing in your ear, or the rustle of the leaves, perhaps a background noise, a metal industrial object, perhaps hear your feet walking on the floor. And now feel. What can you feel? The cement underneath while you sit? Or can you feel the clothes on your body? The hair on your neck? What can you feel with your hands? Anything rough or smooth? Can you feel a breath of fresh air or someone kissing you? And can you hear anything? I invite you to listen close, right? And to touch. So we're using all the senses now. And you could do this anytime. Just being mindful of the things, your five senses that you see, touch, smell. We didn't talk about smell. What can you smell? Can you smell that woodsy smell? Or the nothingness? It doesn't really matter. Just spend a few minutes a day, a few times a day, Another fun thing to do is to take pictures, right? We could zoom in close and enjoy the everyday. Like when I look at these beautiful little white flowers, I notice some of them are dying. And then I see some that are fresh and new. And the reason why I'm seeing these things, perhaps, is maybe something's happening in my life. Like something old is dying and something new is rebirthing itself, like a new story. So maybe we could title this piece like a self-portrait. The old and the new. It's a great exercise to take photos and then give them a title, and often they tell us something about ourselves. Ooh, look at this guy. He's a cutie. You see that owl? In my head, he's saying, let's just have fun. I would say that makes sense. So, look at this. Something new is birthing itself, a new flower. Just like me, I'm starting something new. So look to nature for introspection, to teach you about something. This fern is reaching up, reaching out, and growing towards the light with energy. And a beautiful birdie flies by, right? New adventures await. Things will come out of nowhere, moving you someplace else. Photography is a great way to learn about yourself, and it's also a great way to show others what you see and what you're thinking about. So what I challenge you to do is go around your house, go around the outdoors, right? As Earth, we're talking about Earth. See what kind of lessons you could learn from Mother Nature, right? What's it trying to tell you? Or what are you really trying to tell yourself? Are you trying to heal something? Are you trying to understand something in a new way? You could ask yourself a question, right? Like, what do I want to learn today? What do I want to heal today? The way the flower is blooming will tell you what you're ready to hear if you ask it. So, have a beautiful day, and let me show you some pictures, or the thought process behind the pictures that I would take. Hey everybody. So, right now I'm on the floor in nature, right? Can you hear the water? I like the sound of the noise. I feel like a little kid. And I've decided I'm going to draw the little ferns that are on the floor around me. And I have a little piece of paper, right? It's just a scrap piece of paper. Look, I have like recycled paper. And I'm like capturing all the different plants around me. And I'm noticing, the camera hiding behind the fern, and then my face sneaking on the floor, right? Now, I'm learning, I know how to do people a little, but the truth is I don't like the way my face has come out just yet, see? But it doesn't really matter. Like, you gotta practice. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing myself on the floor, drawing, right? Kind of like I'm photographing the paper on the floor. Look. See? So this is another thing to do, right? Have fun. Feel like a child. Doesn't matter what the artwork looks like. And then there's pots on the floor, plants. and my cell phone. And then there's pebbles, you see? That's my cell phone. And now I'm drawing pebbles on the floor.
Hi. So I thought it would be really fun. We were just outside exploring, and I want to take you and explore inside. This is my studio, and I think it's important to remember, like, of course we're inspired when we travel or we go to places we've never been. But if you find the ordinary extraordinary, right? Make the ordinary extraordinary. Go in your backyard. It is exciting, like how I was exploring plants and just being in my backyard. We don't have to travel to have fun and go exploring. So what I want to do now is just walk you through how to really draw a plant, right? The plant is not a portrait. It's not a human. And the plant is not a landscape, which is like the mountains or the seascape or the cityscape. This is considered a still life. A still life is an inanimate object. And so what we can do now is, if I'm going to do this still life, I could think, okay, do I want this whole plant to take up the whole piece? Okay, so I'm planning out where it's going to go. I want to take up the whole composition. And then you may choose to use pencil or marker. I'm going to use marker just because you can see it better. And I'm going to start with the vase. Now, what's great about this, you can change it. It doesn't need to be correct. And I skipped here because the truth is, these beautiful leaves from this type of plant cover this line, right? So then I'm constantly looking at what angle you can see from, here to here. All these negative spaces are part of the drawing. So I'm just using my eyes and I'm following up to what I see. I'm getting a shape. And it's organic. It doesn't matter if it's identical, it's still going to look like a plant. So that's why plants are really fun to draw. I'm noticing that there's these little spikes at the end, a repeating triangular pattern. So we know that if you touch the plant, right, that we're capturing that. It was hard for me to go from the top down with that movement, so I chose to then go up. Sometimes you may want to turn your paper to get a better movement with your hand. You don't need to go awkward, be awkward. I'm adding a lot of lines and dots and patterns because I noticed on this beautiful succulent cactus thing that there's really great texture. Okay, and then there's more plant that's coming out to me. Woo! And it has crazy spikes also. And once again, it looks different, right? But it's okay. And I'm also noticing these are kind of triangular with round tips at the end. And this object is in front of this one, so it kind of goes behind and you don't see it. And then I notice another one is coming up, and then it folds over. So in order, I see the underneath of the plant, and then I see the top of the plant. So I draw a line, and then it comes like that. Now, if I had an eraser, this line shouldn't be here, but I'll cover it up with pattern. Do I have to draw every single piece of the plant? No, but it's definitely missing something. So, ooh, I noticed this other cool object, cactus, which looks like it grows kind of like that. Little triangle curves. One on top of the other. So everything's made of pattern and shape, right? These are organic shapes, not geometric. I said triangular-ish, but they're really softer. They're not perfect triangles. You know, this is a perfect rectangle, that's geometry, and a perfect circle is geometry. These are organic, which means found in nature, free form. Now, what about the table? Is this plant going to be floating on the artwork? It could. You can choose if you want it to float. But if we want to draw a table, we have to think about where that line is going to go. And maybe it should go, when you have an artwork, it's nice to use the rule of thirds, like kind of like a grid is on top of your artwork. So the rule of things often shouldn't be right in the center. The reason being, if you put something straight in the center, your eye glues only to the center and it doesn't want to move around the whole artwork. When you put it off center, you're forcing the viewer to look around the artwork. So the table line will go here on the rule of thirds. I could have put it up here, but I didn't want to. Now, what's the difference between this and this? We could put wallpaper or put a pattern. Let's just maybe put some horizontal lines. Just make it look a little different. And now we have a still life. You see? Could you do more? This is ceramic, and this has earth inside. Let's see. We could put some little pebbles. It's all about little patterns to make texture. Okay. And I would say that's good for now. So thank you for joining me in the studio.
So now we're outside. I'm enjoying the leaves and the breeze and nature. And I brought some paper. This one, you'll notice, is not white, it's dark. You can use typewriter paper. And the colors I picked today were nature colors because we're talking about earth. So I picked green for the leaves and the trees and perhaps a little blue and my special gold. I love gold. Once again, I'm going to start now. I'm just going to start making marks. I'm looking across the way and I see palm trees. And I'm going to be inspired by palm trees. This doesn't have to be a work of art that's going to be framed. Once in a while there'll be surprises and you will find something that you do want to frame. But please don't think that everything has to be good enough. We have to practice to become a good artist. And if you came to visit my studio, you'd certainly see there's a lot of stuff that's not good. You only see the good stuff, right? I love to use a bunch of art materials, not just one, and I like to switch it up. And today I'm definitely going to be inspired by the palm fronds. I'm going to use the palm fronds as my motif. That's the object that I'm going to repeat over and over again. I'm going to also play with scale, having things very big, make them appear closer. I'm using these acrylic markers. They're paint pens. They're kind of fun. And I've been using a lot of lines, right? So if I want, I could make them thicker. fill in the negative spaces. These are definitely patterns. And I like to turn my paper a lot because then it helps activate and create really wonderful movement. It's just so nice to be outside. I think I'm going to be inspired now by the pool which is in front of me. Have you ever seen those pool things at the bottom that clean the pool? I mean, does it matter what I'm making? Or just that I'm inspired by different lines that I see and shapes? Remember, we took that journey of the visualization together. We didn't care what we saw. We just noticed the shape. We noticed the line. We noticed, excuse me, the noise of the breeze and my sneeze. I'm making quick marks with no thought. I'm making slow marks. Let's see, I'm thinking now, once again, does anybody need to know that this is my pool pump? My pool cleaner? No one cares. But it's just so fun that I'm getting a design that's inspired by this little object in my pool. Who knows? Someone may see this and be like, oh my gosh, that would be a magnificent rug. Right? So artists are inspired from their imagination, and they're inspired from the world around them. And a lot of times, they don't need you to know that they got the idea from that object. It's not always about the object. Sometimes the object is just inspiration for a design. Now, all this negative space, so positive space are the objects, the negative space is bothering me, so I'm going to fill it. I could fill it with lines, I could fill it with dots, I could fill it with shadows, maybe these weird shapes. And it's okay if it's ugly, right? These are just sketches. This looks a little weird, but guess what? I like this pattern. I like this pattern a lot. And I think I'm going to use it later for this other artwork I'm going to do. So remember, there's no mistakes, happy accidents, and you learn new language every time you work. So thank you for joining me. Get outside, stay in the shade, go in the sun, and enjoy making art outside. Now's the best time. Mother Earth is telling you she loves you and she wants to take care of you.